You are listening to the Living Room Confessional podcast. Happy Monday! Welcome back to the Living Room Confessional podcast. I'm your host, Courtney, and I just wanted to take a moment to say thank you guys for coming back. I really appreciate it. On today's episode, we have Loren Holmes, and we're basically going to be talking about finding purpose in your passion. When I was younger, I had danced through middle school to high school into like my first 2 years of college. I was going to be a dance major. As much as I loved it, I wasn't the best dancer. And I can be honest with myself and say that I got hurt a lot. My technique was not the best, but when I danced, I literally felt like I was just floating in another world and I was just like my happy place. So when I basically realized that I needed to switch my major, I still loved dance and it was still a huge part of who I was and what I wanted to do with my life. So I taught dance to preschoolers for about a year. And then I also taught a class at a gym called Balletone, which was like taking my love for fitness and my love for dance and ballet, especially, and kind of merging the two. So we did like ballet warm ups along with just like core workouts and things like that. I just kept finding ways to integrate dance into my life so that I didn't lose my relationship with dancing. So let's fast forward. I love to dance. I dance around my house. If I'm cleaning and there's music playing, I'm dancing. I dance at if I go to the grocery store. Anybody who lives in Texas knows that HEB plays the best music for grocery shopping and just like life. There's NSYNC playing. There's Stevie Wonder. Going to HEB to go grocery shopping is literally a vibe. And I am that person who dances through the aisles. I don't care who sees me, who's around. I love dancing. I love music. So that's kind of my connection with dance now. And so, that being said, Loren is a phenomenal dancer. We worked together back when I had to be about 19 or 20 when I met her. And she's been dancing since then. She was passionate about it then. Her passion has grown up until now, and she's even started Hearts in Motion, which is going to be bringing dance to lower income areas. It's a mobile dance company, and she's doing so many great things with that project. One of the things that we focus on during this conversation is the fact that even though you love something, you're always going to have people in the background that are naysayers and telling you no. And partially it's because they can't see your vision and they don't understand where you're going. And it is so important that you hold on to your passion because when it's tied to your purpose, your gifts need to be shared with others. That's what it's literally meant for. So, our message for you during this episode is to keep going and just keep building on your passion. Even if you don't know what your purpose is yet, take the things that you love and that you're good at and keep doing them. Because more than likely, you will find your purpose through your passion. You could literally connect with somebody just because you followed your passion. And that person may open doors for you and help you get to a level that you never would have thought was possible had you not shared your gifts with others and opened yourself up to the possibilities of being able to work with other people and allowing them to see and understand all that you are capable of by doing what you love. Something that I've really learned in recent years is that when you do what you love or you do something that makes you happy, you do it better and people can actually see it. Even if it's something that's really, really small and you may think it's just a little insignificant detail, your passion shines through when you do things that you love because it brings out the best in you. We are literally our best selves when we do things that make us happy. And I really encourage every single person to, even if you don't know what it is, try new things. Find your passion, find things that you love. Life is very short. And a lot of us, like after college, it moves so fast. You get into a job, you have a 9 to 5. If you want to climb the ladder, you're going to be working really long hours. And you lose that sense of joy if you don't love what you're doing. Like it leaves very, very quickly. And life just becomes, it's almost like Groundhog Day. Same thing every day. It just kind of drags on and you just go with it. So when you find things that make you happy and really bring you joy, make the time, put forth the effort, and make sure that you're pursuing those things and doing what you love to do. All I'm really trying to say is that if you find ways to make a change, if you can find ways to make a change in your life so that you can follow your purpose and do something that brings you joy, I would highly recommend pursuing that and at least just seeing what possibilities lie ahead. I understand that sometimes you have to take a pay cut, you don't really want to do that, or you might have to move. It may be inconvenient, but sometimes in life, the things we want, the things worth having, they don't come easily. Sometimes you have to make that change and make yourself uncomfortable so that you don't miss the opportunity to make yourself or do something greater. Now, I'm going to stop here and not go on a rant or anything. But I feel very passionate about this because for years I have put things off. I am notorious for putting things off or making excuses for why I didn't do something. And I've missed out on so much. And I'm at a point in my life where I'm kind of like, no more. I know what my passions are. I know what I love. I know what I want to do. I see the direction in which I'm going and I'm going to keep pushing myself forward. And I highly recommend that if you know what your passion is and where you want to go in life, do what you need to do to get there. Because even if you struggle, I think it'll hurt more if you don't even try in the long run. Like, no one wants to live with that guilt or that regret. So I just say keep pushing forward, do what you love, find your passion, and allow it to lead you to your purpose. I hope you guys have a great week. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. I hope I didn't talk your ear off. I'm really excited about Loren's interview, and we cover a lot of topics. Just get some tea, some coffee, some cookies, and just kind of sit back, enjoy the episode, and have a great week. So today on the podcast, we have Loren, and we're going to be talking about finding purpose in your passion. So welcome to the podcast, Loren. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Tell me about dancing, because we're going to be talking about that a lot. So you've been dancing since you were young, or did you start later in life, like in college? How'd that happen?
So I actually started dancing when I was 7. So my mom put me in this little program that they had in my elementary school at the time when I was 6. And I loved it. She put me in a studio, The Art of Dance, actually, where I was flawlessly directed and guided by a woman named Lisa Baden. I just kind of fell in love. Like, literally at that moment, I fell in love. And so I've been dancing ever since, man.
That's
so
awesome.
Like over 20 years now, I've been dancing.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm. So
A lot of us have those cute little, I started dancing when I was little. We all have those cute little tutu pics where it's your first recital.
And smiling off to the side, foot's barely pointed, but it's adorable.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Yeah.
So where has dance taken you?
Man, over the years, let's see, I did dance on my high school drill team. And from there, I went to TSU, Texas Southern, and I danced in the company there. And I actually took like a little break. So maybe like a 2-year break. And then I didn't start dancing again until like 2011. And since then, I have performed in New York, Pennsylvania, North Carolina, Atlanta, California. I want to say that's maybe it, but then everywhere in Texas. So I've performed with artists such as Solange and currently in the Black Angels Collective with Toby Nwigwe, who's a really dope artist. Or he's not up and coming anymore. He's here. He's arrived. And so just done a ton of things with different artists in Houston. And it's definitely not just brought me to all of those places, but connected me with so many like dope individuals as well that have helped to elevate my career in more ways than just being a performer, you know? So it's been a cool ride. Uh,
That's
my, my,
awesome.
my next feat or my next goal is to start traveling and performing and doing things overseas. So that's my next goal. That's on my to-do list.
All right. Well, it's funny because Toby and his wife actually go to my church. So I
Mm-hmm.
found out about him at Hope City. And they brought him on stage to start rapping. And I was like, who is this? And
Uh,
then a couple of months later, I actually saw you posting about dancing in his video. And then I saw the
mhm.
video and I was like, oh my, the world is just so small.
It, like full circle. It just all comes full circle, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So making dance into a career is not always an easy thing. So you say you want to go overseas. Do you have a plan on how to get there at this point or?
So with my business Hearts in Motion, which I'm sure we'll talk about at some point,
Mhm.
the goal is to also become a nonprofit and bring dance to children in countries that may not have the access to it.
Yeah.
So I don't want to necessarily like go to these places and perform, although I will definitely perform for the children. But the goal isn't to show off and like dance. It's to work with those kids and bring them something that they, naturally just wouldn't have. So that's the real goal.
So now you're
Because
using dance to reach people, basically.
yes,
I love that.
yeah, it's been extremely transformative in my own life. Like it has transformed my life in ways that I never would have imagined. So I just want to be able to bring that to people as well.
Hmm. Now, did you struggle to stay with dancing? Because I know, like, the world and society wants us to conform to the 9 to 5 life.
Yep, tell me about it. Um, so, I will say that I've had family who hasn't been the most supportive. Even now, with everything that I've already done, people are still like, so when are you gonna get? I'm like, dude,
One day at a
I'm
time, chill.
the bottom of the barrel anymore. I'm not, like I actually am doing things and getting things done, and I've done things. But I don't necessarily just blame them. I think it's a generational thing.
Hmm.
I think our generation is really willing to fight tooth and nail for things that they're passionate about.
Yeah, they're more
And
willing to take a risk.
yes, way more willing. Not like our grandparents or even our parents.
No, I get in trouble saying that word stability all the time.
And it is a very unstable career choice unless you have a dance studio or
Hmm.
um, but other than that, it's a very unstable career choice. But God has not failed me yet, so I'm gonna keep pushing. I'm not ever going to conform ever.
I hope you don't. Has anybody helped you kind of move forward?
It does take a village. I do have people that I look up to and that have been there to offer just like advice, not necessarily like mentors, but like one man, his name is Chris Thomas, and he's the director or was the director of Sunkiss, a company that I danced with. And I just have always really admired how he has basically done the same thing, taken dance and just used that to propel his whole entire life forward.
Hmm.
And while I'm no longer in the company, because it's no longer a company, but we're basically like family. So if I need to reach out and get some sort of advice or whatever that is, he's always available. Old dance instructors, just these different people that I know I can go to help me out if I am in a rut or I just feel like I've hit a wall.
Oh, okay.
So
That's
yeah.
awesome. So you danced
Hmm.
in a dance company. What does it feel like when you're on the stage? Like you're up there, you're dancing, pursuing your dreams, living your passion. Like, what is that feeling that you get when you step on a stage?
Man, it is probably one of the most indescribable feelings. It feels and it feels like different and new every single time. Um, First there's like a wave of like, oh, I'm really nervous.
Mhm.
Like right before going on, really nervous, but as soon as I'm on stage, it's just like I just feel completely untouchable. Like I feel like I'm at my highest point of existence almost. It feels good. It feels good. It's exhilarating. It makes my heart race. I feel like I'm in a dream every time I'm performing. Like
Oh,
it
that's
feels,
so good.
and then the energy from, you know, whatever audience it is, that just kind of feeds it, you know, and just makes it perform even harder. So being on stage is one of the best feelings ever. Next to honestly me, like being a mom, like if I could compare the two, even though she's whining right now, so sorry.
Don't worry.
Yeah, it's one of the best feelings in the world for me. I know, for me. Ugh. Yeah, say hi.
Hi. She's so cute.
Can you say hi?
You have a twin.
Right.
Well, they do say those who can't do teach, but you can clearly still dance. So why teaching?
But I like working with kids.
Mhm.
Um, and I feel like, and I've always felt like this, if I have been blessed with this amazing gift, you know, apart from sharing it on a stage and performing, I should also be giving that to others, by teaching them, especially children, because I feel like it's my duty. Like I shouldn't just hold on to this and then when I go away, it shouldn't also die. It should continue on through, you know, kids that I've worked with.
Okay. So how has using dance as a means to try out like new avenues changed your perspective?
Uh, I think when I made the decision to make it a business,
Mm-hmm.
um, a lot changed my my perspective, only because I'm an artist. I didn't take any business courses when I was in college. I was really kind of going into it blind. And I had a friend mention to me this program that they have at U of H called the Sure Entrepreneur Program. And yeah, so it is a free program.
I'm about to start learning right now because I'm like, I need help. This is hard.
Yeah, it is a free program. And you basically, in the program, it's a semester. And in the program, you basically learn how to, what is it called? Jesus, and I took the program. They first off like help you create a pitch and write a business plan, and then through each course you just get like an overload. I mean, it's an overload of business information. They bring in different professionals to talk about how they started their businesses. They bring in bankers to talk about business loans and all these different things. And these are things that I had no idea about. Okay, honey, I was blind. And it really put into perspective how I can turn myself into my business, you know?
Yeah.
So instead of saying, oh, you can slide me this much money, now it's more so like, well, here's a contract and I'll send you an invoice. Like, so people can know that, yes, you're booking me to do this, but this is also like a business transaction. It's not just me doing you a favor or whatever it is. So it's definitely shifted it a lot, just because, you know, you want people to take you seriously and what you do.
Mm-hmm.
And if you have some of that knowledge, people tend to take you more seriously, you know?
Yes. And I will say, when you do start a business, y'all need to chill out with all the, do me a favor. Can you take one for the team? I started a business, support me.
Not, but what I can do is this.
Oh my goodness.
Mm-hmm.
So why do you feel like it's important for someone to pursue their passion?
Because you don't want to grow old and be laying on your deathbed and then be having all of these thoughts of shoulda, woulda, coulda, and I wish, you know, that is my fear, actually, is to get to that moment, you know, when I'm getting ready to cross to the great beyond. And I'm laying there and I'm just like, man, I really wish that I would have done this. Or, you know, so it's important because of that. And just because you don't know who else like needs your gift. You don't
Yeah.
know, you know? And while it is possible to pursue your passion, and I laugh all the time. I'm like, what if my daughter wants to become an astronaut? But what if she wants to dance too? She could be a dancing astronaut. Like, you know, so there's no restriction. You can do both.
Absolutely.
But I definitely, if God gives you a talent, you know, and no matter how much you try to get away from it, it always comes back like to you in some way. That means you need to be doing something with it. Like, you shouldn't sit on it.
Then
You
it's
know?
tied to your purpose.
Mm-hmm.
So that was
Absolutely.
my next question. How do you know when your passion is tied to your purpose? That's exactly how.
Yep. And it keeps coming back, and you're like, God, what? Are you trying to tell me something? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
He is trying to tell you something. He is saying to use the gifts that I gave you because he will take them. So
Oh,
use.
I think that's the truth.
My child is having. So sorry. My child is having a party without me paying attention. Oh my gosh.
Now, has dancing and has it taken you to a place in your life that you never thought you'd go? Like, did you have the entrepreneur spirit at any time? Like, how did you see yourself at this point in your life, like when you were younger?
Mm-hmm.
Does it shock you to think, I never thought I would be here?
You know, it does. it because I originally, as a kid, I wanted to be a veterinarian, like all throughout childhood, because but I wanted to be a particular type. Because I found out that at the vet you can bring any animal,
Mm-hmm.
unless it's dog designated. I was like, I think I only want to do dogs. But when you go to school, you don't just learn about dogs.
Mm-mm.
So. But that's what I wanted to do originally, growing up, was to be a veterinarian because I like dogs. And even after I graduated high school, my intention was to do something with psychology. I don't know what I was going to do, but something with it. And that is actually because my unsupportive person in my life at the time, they told me literally, you know, I know that you've been dancing since you were little and all that, but there is no money in that. You know, there's not a career in that. You're not going to go very far. So you should think of something more realistic. Yep, that's my reaction. And and I, being, you know, a 17-year-old, like hearing that from somebody that you look up to and care about and all this stuff, it messed me up.
Instills fear.
Yeah, so I went to school for psychology. I didn't go for dance originally like I wanted to. And I did that for 3 years. So that's 3 years that were just gone, you know, while I did learn things still, but I wasn't doing what I wanted to do. And I forgot the question you asked me, how I was going to tie this in, but.
No, keep going. You're good.
No, I didn't do what I originally wanted to do. And during that time, I was in a really dark place, and it just felt like something was missing, you know? So I I had to get back to it. I had to, because whoo child, when I wasn't dancing, it was intense. Life was intense.
Yeah, because it's not what you were supposed to be doing. You were supposed to be dancing. Now, that's perfect because you segued me into my next question. So, anyone who's afraid or struggling to keep their passion alive, what advice would you give them?
Just, man, I'm sitting here thinking about what I would have told myself. You know, do not listen to the naysayers. They are usually people who are also afraid to follow their own dreams and their own passions. And because of that, they're just only giving you advice that they are currently taking. Because they
Absolutely.
are afraid, you know, they're projecting onto you. So just don't listen to them. Don't listen to people who try to steer you away from it is that you are really passionate about,
Yeah.
because it can put you in a weird place. And it's just, you got to fight, keep fighting. It's tough. It is so tough doing something that you are passionate about every day, and not always seeing the benefits of it. You know, you may not see the benefit years years down the line, you know. But you just have to keep fighting and keep going, because it's worth it. It's always worth it in the end.
Absolutely. It always cracks me up because usually the people that tell you no, don't do that, or that's hard, or you can't do that, they're the ones that are like complaining, oh my God, this is the same thing every day. I'm so bored. I'm not happy. I'm not this. I'm not that.
Mm-hmm. I'm like, no, well, then you should do what you want to do.
Yeah.
That's not my, that sounds like a you problem.
Yeah.
I am going to do what I want to do. And that for me is dance. And I'm going to make it happen. And actually during this pandemic, I almost was like, man, I'm going to have to go get like a real job, you know? Cause you know, the art world took a hit, and it's still
Yeah.
taking a hit. So, but where there's a will, there's a way.
I've been seeing y'all all over the internet doing virtual classes. Like y'all are fun in ways. I just
Yeah.
saw there was the dance studios in New York. They said we're still closed. This woman held her class in the street. Like you do what you got to do.
You got to do what you got to do.
Absolutely.
Still have bills to pay. People still have kids. People still have homes, families. You make it work. And while it may not be ideal, it's just because of the current state of things. It's just what we have to do,
Yeah.
you know?
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Now, tell me about Hearts in Motion, because I'm excited to hear about this. How did you get started? Like, where did the idea come from? I want to know it all.
Okay. So, if you can remember when I spoke of the program that I did at U of H. So, Hearts in Motion was actually the business that I was looking to learn or to launch. And I had a friend, her name is my Matthews. I really hope I said her last name correctly. She'll kill me if I didn't. But she actually had a branding company at the time. And so she basically reached out. She found out I was in the program, and she was like, Loren, if you need, you know, like a website, logo, like all that stuff, anything to do with branding, she was like, I got you. And I was
That's
like,
awesome.
I was like, are you serious? Like,
yes.
I don't have to pay you nothing. She was like, no, like seriously, girl, like I got you, you know.
That's a big deal. That stuff's expensive.
Exactly. And so, and the reason that it was of no cost to me was because she actually ended up using me like as like for her company to help drive business to her. So, you know, so it worked out for both parties. And then from there, I started booking all of my privates and choreography and things that I would do would be under that umbrella. So it wasn't just Loren. I created my separate pages and whatnot, so on social media. And I did not expect it to get to where it is today, because I was pregnant for all of 2019. So business more kind of sort of stopped. 2018 was booming. You know, I ended up going out of town and teaching, and I was just doing all these things, teaching here and all that good stuff. And then 2019 business kind of sort of just stopped because I was pregnant. And with COVID happening and everything, I just felt like, man, my poor baby, like, you know, I do like some rebranding and things just because I felt like everything that I had just needed a new look. So I ended up keeping the logo that she gave me because I loved it. I love the logo. but everything else, like I got a new website, tried to fix my social media, all those things, and it's picking back up. But I will say, I don't know what I'm trying to say. It's picking back up. And so with that, so I'm still doing virtual lessons. So I offer private lessons, choreography, performances if necessary, but Hearts in Motion is really geared more so towards the teaching and less performing. If people want to book the performer, then they should just reach out to me. But yeah, so on my website, I have those services, and I'm even launching a Moms and Tots class where people will actually be able to go to the website and subscribe and have access to that content. And Moms and Tots, because I was like, Loren, the only way you're going to really be able to get recording done is if your kid is in it.
Yes.
So she is in it. And so, yeah, man, it's been a long road, I want to say, just because of like getting everything started and then having to stop and then having to restart again. But people are learning and finding out about Hearts in Motion, so that's a good thing.
That is a good thing.
Yeah, because I do want it to actually become a physical studio space. Just not right now, because that's not where I'm at. Once I have a studio space, that requires a whole nother piece of energy that I'm not ready to give. So in the meantime, I will be a mobile dance service. So I travel to wherever I need to travel. And like I said, still offering virtual as well. I do weddings. I don't know, marriage
I saw
parties.
on there that there's like, if you want wedding choreography, like that's on the rage right now. So.
Yeah, all of that. I do it all. You need it, I do it. Music video, I got you. So Hearts in Motion is my baby. Just because I want to see it flourish, and that just requires work for me. But it's possible, and it'll happen.
So what personally pushes you to do what pushed you to create Hearts in Motion?
I had been working in some studios, and I love dance studios. I also did an after school dance program, and while I love doing those things, it was just more so I just want to be able to do it for myself. Like, I'm not really well at working for people. And I say that in the best way. I'm sorry, I cut my camera off. I say that in the best way. Just because I just wanted to work for myself.
I was like, don't we all?
I was like, I am literally, while I'm not, I am for supporting other people, but it's like, I'm bringing them, all of this money and all this stuff. Like, I can do this myself, So that's one of the big reasons why I was like, I'm gonna create a business and we'll see what happens.
That's awesome. So what type of community and like network do you want to create through this?
I ultimately want Hearts in Motion to be a space where people can come and have a good time while learning, because a lot of places can be really rigid in their teaching, and while yes, the kids might be phenomenal, they may also be miserable. And I just want it to be a space where people can just come, and kids of all ages can come and just feel free to be themselves and not be judged, and they just learn and have a good time.
I love that.
Mm-hmm.
It's a safe space just to let your creativity just kind of flourish.
Absolutely.
Now, what does it mean to you to inspire children and people through dance? Like, I know one of my dance teachers that I had when I was younger, her absolute favorite part of her day or the class, she always got really excited. Like, you know, that one girl in the class that always had a hard time with the choreography. But the
Yep.
minute she got it and she nailed it and she just kind of got that look of like, oh my God, I did it. That was what made her like do what she does. That's what she always used to tell us. For you, what is that? Like, what is that thing that inspires you when you're teaching children and working with the adults?
You know, I don't want to take your teacher's thing, but it's real. It is so real. It is like, think of something as simple as skipping, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, to stand up and start skipping, you would just start skipping, right?
Yeah.
You may not remember when you learned how to skip, how you learned how to skip, but you can skip. But skipping is something that has to be taught. So like it is like to see a child's face light up when they finally get something. Or I mean, I say a child just because like kids are so green and there's so much that they don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But just with anybody, like, but especially children, to see their face light up and they say, "Miss, I got it." Oh. Yes, like that. I'm getting happy just like talking about it, because it is such a aha moment, and to see it on their face, like, oh man, I can skip. Okay, bet. What else do you have? Like, to see the look of accomplishment, and then that same look of like, well, what else you got? You know, that is what I enjoy about teaching. And I, like I said, I hate to steal your teacher's thing, but
Girl, take it. It's good.
It's a real thing. If you are a teacher and you really enjoy what you do, that is a real thing. Like, it brings my heart so much joy. It really does. Yeah, it's it, and every time, oh, I got it. Look, I saw. Yeah.
She's co-signing.
Absolutely.
Well, that's awesome. So
Mm-hmm.
if somebody wants to take your classes, how do they find you?
Well, I do have a website. It is Hearts in Motion, HOU.com. And then I'm also on Instagram, Hearts in Motion _. And then on Facebook, I'm just Hearts in Motion. You can send me a direct message. You can also reach me on the website by email. And let's see. Oh, and Facebook, of course, as well. I can be reached all of those ways. I am available usually all the time to respond back. So unless I'm super busy, I won't respond, but I like for my response time to be pretty quick, just because I feel like it's the right thing to do instead of having people wait 3 days for me to say something.
Well, I'm sure they will appreciate that. Now, ma'am, second most important part of the call. So we need your confession.
Oh man.
Nobody's ever ready.
I'm like, so when you said that in the email, I was thinking about it. Mm-hmm. What is a confession, Loren? You're supposed to have this prepared. My name is Loren. That's Loren, but pronounced Laren. And when people say it wrong, nowadays, I don't even correct people, simply because I know I'm never going to talk to them again, so I'm not even going to waste my time. And but if you're somebody that I know I'm going to be talking to again, I will correct you, because if you call me the wrong name, I'm not going to answer. So yes, confession. If you say my name wrong, I'm not answering. I'm 31 years old. I've had enough. Say my name right. Ask me how it sounds. We can have a lesson really quick, but don't just say it wrong and then move past that. We can't move past that. And you know what's even funnier? So, well, no, this is associated. My daughter's name. People have been butchering her name. And I'm just like, did you hear what I said? I didn't say that. I'm just like,
Lord.
People will listen to you and then tell you what they felt like you said. That is a word. Into the way.
That is so true.
I'm like, that's not what I said. But yes, that is my living room confession. Mm-hmm.
Well, I appreciate you coming on the podcast.
Thank you so much for having me. This is so fun. Yay.
And I can't wait to see what happens with your company and how far you go. Because I love the whole concept of just like kind of, what did I call it? Well, you called it this, a mobile dance service. Mm-hmm. And just reaching people. And I know we talked about like you wanted to reach kids in like lower income areas and things like that. And this is like the perfect way to do. And I absolutely just love that. I think arts should be shared everywhere, and lower income areas, and just kids that are just underprivileged. They don't get to do things like that. So I always appreciate companies and businesses that think of them first and take them into consideration when they're building kind of what they do. Thanks for tuning in, you guys. I hope you enjoyed this episode. And if you want more information on previous or future episodes, please check out my website at thelivingroomconfessional.com. And you can also check out and follow my IG page at livingroom_confessional. Thanks again for tuning in. Bye.